programs, it's certainly an important program and one of our newer programs that we just started administering in the last couple of years. What we're going to focus on today is with respect to what we call our FY23 SLCGP program. We had a 22 SLCGP program. We've already went ahead and administered that program in terms of accepting applications, determining who was going to receive funding, issuing those award letters, those grant agreements. And now those folks are in what we call post-award management, where they are going and submitting their request for reimbursement and getting paid to spend those grants down and close those grants out. So that's the FY22 SLCGP program. We have also recently started the FY23 SLCGP program. That just started we accepted applications, I think it was last year, earlier this year, through a Microsoft Forms link that we had on our website. A bunch of folks, eligible applicants, went ahead and applied through the Microsoft Forms application process. We have since received those applications. We've processed the applications. We have a review committee, a state cybersecurity review committee that meets and scores and ranks those applications, gets approved by our director. We sent those up to FEMA, and we are waiting for FEMA approval of our recommended awardees for the FY23 program. So we do not yet have awardees to announce for FY23 SLCGP. However, if you look at our website, we've updated it to indicate that we're going to try to make that announcement, if all goes well, hopefully by the end of August. We'll know from FEMA if they approve our recommended projects, and we can announce those projects at the end of August. Then those folks who have received, who receive funding will be notified. Even if you do not receive funding and you applied anyway, we'll still notify you do not receive funding. So everybody who applied will receive a notification, hopefully by the end of August of this month, of this year, at latest September, we hope. So it's coming soon. So if you're joining us today, hopefully you're a prospective awardee for FY23 SLCGP, hopefully you've applied for the funding, or you're considering applying for funding in the future and you want to see what this is all about. Speaking of the future SLCGP, just to put this in perspective, again, this is on our website as well. The FY24 SLCGP program, FEMA will publish what they call the NOFO, the Notice of Funding Opportunity. It's a document that kind of sets out the rules for each year's grant program. They're going to publish that hopefully sometime by the end of August of this year. If they do that, we will hopefully be able to begin accepting sub-recipients or sub-applicants for the FY24 SLCGP program sometime in September, October-ish timeframe, within the fall of 2024. So we will have a soon-to-come period for FY24 SLCGP applicants as well. So the FY22 SLCGP program, which we've already administered, that's being done through legacy processes, right? That's being done. We had the application submitted on Microsoft Forms. We're going back and forth and emailing documents. We use an internal access database to kind of manage that grant for us. So that's being handled through legacy processes. The 23 program and the 24 program, they're being handled through our new grants management system called Salesforce. We just debuted our Salesforce grants management system in January of this year with a different grant program called CBCG. We've used it now for another grant program called NSGP. EOCGP we've used Salesforce for, and we're going to be using it for FY23 SLCGP and forward. Okay. So this presentation today is going to pick up at the point in time where, hey, you're an FY23 SLCGP applicant, and we have now informed you that you are receiving an award, okay? And then there's stuff you have to do within Salesforce to officially accept that award and then manage that award once you accept it. And we're going to walk you through those processes of how to do that in Salesforce. So it's what we call post-award management in Salesforce. The application process is a different presentation. We will have a separate application process in Salesforce for SLCGP when we announce the 24 SLCGP program opening up in the fall, okay? But this is for the 23 program where those folks have already submitted their applications in Microsoft Forms. You already have those. You don't need to apply again, but your award will be announced in Salesforce. You will accept your award in Salesforce. You will manage your award in Salesforce. So that's what this presentation is for. All right, having said that, I do believe we have our program manager, I think, is on the line for our SLCGP program, Lisa Patton. I want to turn over to Lisa for a minute to give her words of wisdom or anything she wants to add for the SLCGP program, because she is our grants manager that leads that program. Lisa, what do you have to add about SLCGP before we start the demonstration?
Thank you, Derek. I think that you've covered most everything that I was wanting to share today. It's definitely, going to feel like a transition if you were a 22 recipient of the award. And as the FY23 award is being scored and prepared by the feds and comes back to us as approved projects, if you're notified of an award for 23, this transition to this system will be, brand new from the way we did run the 22 program, but at the same time, there'll be a lot of improvements. And I think you'll find it a lot more useful tool than repeated emails back and forth submitting documents to SLCGP inbox. Um, Outside of that, I just know that with any FY23 awards, how those notifications will come out. Just you want to pay attention to that. Do know that if you did submit that FY23 application, we will be taking those applications and having you register in the system if you're awarded. So just you might want to make sure that you're taking a few notes and listing us as your point of contact to assist you with getting registered in the system should you be awarded. So that's about it.
Outstanding. Thank you, Lisa.
Mhm.
And again, we're going to present a lot of information today to you, and we're going to show you a demonstration of our actual Salesforce system. I know it's a lot. It's being recorded, right? So you can always go back and review these things later if you need to. At any time, if anybody has a question, please raise your virtual hand. We'll also take pauses throughout the presentation today for questions. We'll also have a period of time after the presentation for questions and answers. So we want to get your feedback and discussion and questions throughout the process. So feel free to raise your virtual hand, put something in chat if you want. Our staff is on board to answer questions in chat. Or, like I said, we'll take breaks for questions throughout the presentation today. All right. Having said that, let's start by saying, are there any questions before we get into the demonstration? All right, great. So Janine, were there any other slides we had to cover, or was that pretty much it for the slides?
Yes, we do have some informational slides
All right.
that Lisa was going to walk through a little bit.
Okay. All right, Lisa, you want to go through those a little bit more, and then we'll get into the demonstration.
Sure. Yeah, I won't take
Darren
too
kind
much.
of did your update. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Let me move
yeah,
to the
that
next.
no, that's absolutely fine. We won't take too much time on these this updated information because anyone that has been a 22 subrecipient is well aware of their progress of the grant, and all documents related to that. Just as a reminder, we want to remember that if you are awarded in this future FY23 and not a previous subrecipient, there is the requirement of the National Cybersecurity Review. That is done between the months of October and February each year. So you have that open period to report. And once you are in that system and set up your account, it seems like a 30-minute report, 30-minute time-consuming report, nothing major. Get that information in. It allows DHS and CISA to recognize the current status of your cybersecurity. So it's a very important report, but that is one of the special requirements of the grant, as well as the cyber hygiene services, which you do not have to report back to us, but you do have to, if we ask, have your files readily available to show that you are maintaining the cyber hygiene. And we can go to the next slide. So we also do have 5 required documents. We have the state North Carolina substitute W-9, and these are for first-time subrecipients of an award. These are documents that you have to have on file. If you are a previous awarded, if you have been previously awarded in 2022, these documents are already on file for you. No need to change anything unless you have updates, switch bank, this sort of thing, right? So just keep in mind that if you are a new subrecipient in 23, you will have to provide these 5 required documents. The state of North Carolina substitute W-9, links provided here, electronic payment vendor forms so that we can ensure you're properly getting reimbursed, which, by the way, keyword reimbursed, a reimbursement grant, conflict of interest policy, sworn no overdue tax certification, and your procurement policy. We can move on to the next slide.
Lisa, if I can jump in real quick. I'm
Sure,
sorry.
sure. Absolutely.
John Adamczyk had a question in the chat. John, you're a little bit early for the NSGP training. That was supposed to be, I believe, tonight, Janine, correct? For the NSGP? Was that this evening?
Yes, sir. That's tonight at 6 o'clock.
At 6 o'clock. Yeah, John. So you're welcome to stay on, John. And Salesforce is certainly going to be used for NSGP as well. You can glean some information from it, but this is specific to the SLCGP program, the State Local Cybersecurity Grant Program. So if you don't have that invite, you can send us an email, or Janine can let you know what the contact information is. We can provide the link to the webinar tonight at 6 o'clock for NSGP. Okay. Thank you, sir.
I've made note and will do.
Great. Thank you. All right. I'm sorry, Lisa, if you want to go ahead and just take care of this real quick, Lisa, and we'll get to the demonstration. Thanks.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so if again you are awarded for FY23, some of the items that you are going to see in Salesforce are your award notification, your memorandum of agreement or MOA, cost report form, annual progress report, site visiting and closeout reporting. And these are some of the documents that you'll see flowing within the SLCGP grant award. We do still maintain the SLCGP at ncdps.gov inbox. That is for the programmatic team. But we do require currently for 22 that all these documents that you see here for FY22 are in the email SLCGP at ncdps.gov. Okay, because that's our recording email address there. And that's it for now.
Outstanding. Thank you. All right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, Janine, and get to the demonstration if that's okay with you.
Derek, I believe
Yep.
Amanda is up first on the registration process.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Yep, you're absolutely right. Okay, go ahead, Amanda. Please take it away with the demonstration of how to get registered in Salesforce. This is probably the most important thing we need to talk about, and I forgot. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Amanda Thaxton, and I am going to walk you through how you start a new account in Salesforce. So when you come to this page, the suggestion would be to click here. I know it's a little hard to see, but there it is. And it will bring you to this page.
Hey, Amanda, I'm sorry, real quick. Janine, can we put that link in the chat, please, of how you get to this website to
Yes.
register? Thank you. Go ahead, Amanda.
And then from here, you fill out all of the things that would have a red asterisk next to them. So you walk through, if you want to include everything, we appreciate it. We really do, but it's not required. And then you can put in your email address after this. And then what we suggest for where it says phone-business, we suggest that you put in whatever phone number is easier to contact you on. So just whatever you want to put in, that's whatever easiest for us to reach you on. And then from here, you can scroll down and you can do your request type. You're a new user requesting access. And then you need to fill this out, even though it's not required. It really helps us to know where you go. I'm a representative for an applicant organization. If you're a county, you are currently in the system. If you're a nonprofit or other organization receiving this grant, you can type in your organization name and it should show up if it closely matches. I am just going to pick Alamance County. And then from here, you need to be a full access applicant user. On the off chance you have multiple people who you think should only have read-only access, you can add that in. But for now, I want to be a full applicant user. And then when it says reason for requested access, I apply for grants. And then for the program, this really just kind of tags it for us so we kind of know where you need to go in the system and to make sure that it alerts our administrator that you need to get approved relatively quickly. So you click SLGCP. Selecting this does not mean that you can't apply for other grants. You can still apply for all the grants. This is just for new users who kind of need to make sure that we see you and can get you approved as soon as possible. And then from here, you'll click register, and it takes you to the page. It can take us up to 5 or 6 days to make sure everybody's in the system correctly. Give us a little bit of time, and I promise you we will follow up with you to make sure that you're in the system. So that's it. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day.
I'll say thanks, Amanda. So the link is in the chat. So if you are, if you need access to Salesforce, you would click on that link and then fill out the information as Amanda showed during her demonstration. And then you would submit that registration request to us to get Salesforce access. You don't really need Salesforce access unless you are an actual award recipient. So it's a little bit premature right now for some of you folks if you're not an award recipient for FY23 SLCGP. Or if you're planning to apply for FY24 SLCGP, you would need access as well for that. To request access, click on that link, request access. We will then go ahead and approve it and get you access. The way it works is you will register for your organization. Each organization can have up to 5 contacts associated with it. So five people per organization to register. There's no cost to y'all to use Salesforce. We pay that, but there's a cost certainly. We pay that as the state. No cost for you to use it. But we do get charged kind of on a per click basis for every time one of our users of Salesforce clicks on the website. We kind of get charged for that. So we limit to only 5 contacts per organization, and you can register for that. There's also a video link on our website as well to walk you through what Amanda just described for the registration process. All right, was there anything else, Janine, or can we jump into the demonstration?
Yes, sir. We're ready to go.
Outstanding. Thank you. All right. So first, let me just show you our website. Again, if you Google NCEM space SLCGP, NCEM space SLCGP, it should take you to this website. This is all the information about the grant, all the different years, 22, 23, 24, is on this website. Okay. Basically, as I just mentioned to you, this is the information about 24 SLCGP. FEMA estimates they'll publish the NOFO sometime in August. All dates subject to change. If they do that, then we will be able to solicit subrecipients sometime after the NOFO is published in the fall. That's for the 24 program. For the 23 program, again, we estimate being able to notify awardees sometime, hopefully within September, by September 30th. All dates subject to change once we hear from FEMA of who the awardees will be for the 23 SLCGP program. So we updated that information on our website for you. Okay, now getting into Salesforce. Once you have access to Salesforce for your organization, okay, you have what they call the community view. We have what we call a Salesforce user license, or we call it Grants Lightning Experience or Grant Manager view. It's a different view than you have in the community. This is the view you will see. I'm a fictitious organization called Z Alpha Test. So I'm consider myself a grantee. I've applied for FY23 SLCGP, and I am in the process of having to accept my award for FY23 SLCGP. So that's the point in time we're picking this demonstration up from. But this is the screen you will see when you first log on. So once you're registered in the system, you're an authorized contact for that organization. In this case, I'm sub-applicant Derek, representing my organization's the Alpha Test. You will see this home screen. On the home screen, if you click on available grants, you will see all the grants that you're eligible to apply for. Now, this is what we call a UAT environment, which is a testing environment. It's a sandbox environment. So there's a bunch of grants you're seeing here that could be applied for in UAT. You will actually have what we call a production environment view. You will not see any grants there unless you're actually eligible to apply for them. So the next thing you will see on that page of available grants would be, most likely if you're applying for SLCGP, would be the FY24 SLCGP program. So that's what you can apply for if you click on available grants. This whole thing is called the North Carolina Department of North Carolina Emergency Management Grants Portal for Preparedness and Hazard Mitigation Grants. It's a mouthful because we share this portal with our hazard mitigation partners. We have 8 sections within NCEM. We're one section being we work in the administration section doing preparedness grants. Hazard mitigation section does other grants. So this is a shared portal for preparedness grants and hazard mitigation grants administered through NCEM. So if you happen to be, for example, a county, or local government entity, and you were applying for SLCGP, if you had hazard mitigation grants, HMGP, FMA, BRIC, the list goes on, you would also see your grants potentially here in this portal as well, but that's through a different section of NCM. So we're going to talk about the preparedness grants here. First thing you would do is click on your account profile. These are called, at the top of the screen here, we call them objects, or you can drop down list. I think social, I think calls them objects, but this account profile object at the top of the screen. If you click on that, click on the black line. You always want to make sure it says all accounts, and go ahead and pin that as your view. Okay. Otherwise, you might not see all the information you need. So make sure you click the black dot, click all. Then you will see your account here. This is a Z Alpha test in my case. And then anywhere you see a pencil, okay, you can edit that information in real time. So, for example, here, let's just say, wait a minute, that's not right. I have 150 employees. Click on that pencil, change it 100 to 150, hit save, and you've updated that information in real time. It becomes important for your address information, right? To keep up to date. You will require a UEID, a Uniform Entity ID number, if you're getting any federal funding that you would put in here. You have to register in a system called SAM. You make sure your current register in that. Your expiration date would go there. Anywhere you see a little I, that's called an I box or an I button, that gives you more information about what we need to see in that field. So these little individual lines are called fields. Objects up top, fields are the lines. I boxes explain what needs to be in the fields. Okay. So this is important, particularly your address information, other information about your organization. Okay. Then for your contacts, again, you could have the 5 contacts associated with your organization registered in Salesforce. In this case, sub-applicant Derek, I'm the only contact associated with Z Alpha Test. If you click on your contact information, again, this is very important. You can make sure that this information is updated as well by simply clicking on the pencil. So let's say I'm looking at this and I say, wait a minute, that phone number, my mobile phone number's changed. It's not 8513. I'm actually 8613 now. I changed my number. Simply go and update it, hit save, and the information has been updated in real time. Again, your address information, click on it, update your address information. Keep this information updated because this is the way we will contact you if we need to. So update your account information, update your contact information. All right. Then if you go under your applications object, okay, and again, I would click the little black line and make sure it goes to all applications. If it's recently viewed or one of these other things here, you may not see your application listed. So please click all applications under the black box. I will go ahead and pin that so you can pin it right up there. And you will see this view now. In this particular case for Z Alpha Test, again, this is a test environment. It's a sandbox. We can play with this with kind of impunity and not mess anything up in the actual production environment. I've actually created 2 different applications for 2 different grants. What I'm going to talk about today is application 297, which is FY23 SLCGP. Okay. And this is for Z Alpha Test. We're an organization that is purchasing some penetration testing software. We want to get reimbursed for that under our grant. So at this point in time, I've already submitted this application. Okay. So I've already completed my application. I've submitted it in Salesforce. Again, in real life for 23 SLCGP, if you're an applicant for that program, you've already submitted your application via Microsoft Forms. You will not have to do that again in Salesforce, right? I'm just showing you what it looks like in Salesforce here with your application, all right? So this is what your application will look like in Salesforce. Anywhere you see these kind of screens here, these tab screens, okay, there's a details and there's a related tab, okay? So your application is kind of like your grant file, okay? When you click on that, the details tab is kind of like the left side of that manila folder, right, with the information about the grant in it, all the details about the grant. And then the right-hand side, the related tab, is kind of that manila folder that has the binder clip in it, and all your attached documents are in there, right? So you got a left-hand side details of the grant, right-hand side, all the attachments, okay? So this is kind of like your grant file under the applications object, in this case, application 297. Here you will see various things such as a budget. You will see awards. You'll see documents that have been uploaded and so forth. But what I want to talk about right now is when at the point in time when you have received FY23 funding from us, the first thing you will see in Salesforce will be this award record. Okay, So in this case is award record 44. Salesforce assigns a unique number to it, right? So you will see that award, all right? And right now for the award, it says pending, okay, where it says the award is pending. Basically, you'll have to go ahead and respond to that award, all right? Now, on the right-hand side of the screen here, okay, this is what we call chatter, okay? In chatter, it's a way for your grant manager or grant managers to communicate directly with you about that grant record, okay? So in this case, with this award, you've already been approved for the award, right? Your application has been accepted, it's been approved by everybody. FEMA's approved your funding. Here you have a chatter from our friendly grant manager, Dean, who's saying, congratulations, you have received an award. Please make sure you go ahead and accept your award, okay? There's a little more information about it there. So you have all this information here. When it gets chattered to you, your bell gets rung up here, and you also receive an email to that email address listed as the contact for the grant award. So it's important to keep that email address updated because you'll receive an email saying, hey, now you have a chatter record. Then you know basically that you received this message saying you received an award, okay? Then you go into Salesforce, you'll see the chatter here, and you can chatter back to Janine, okay, by simply clicking on here, and you would just do at, in this case, Janine, okay, you find her name there, and you would click your response. Thanks, just accepted our award. Now we keep these, and you can also make attachments as well to the chatter records. But these are chatter records that tend to be very short, brief, professional exchanges. They're not a place to say, hey, Janine, how's the family? You know, how are you doing? All that type of stuff. This is strictly related to the business of the grant award, and this particular grant record in this case, which is accepting that award. So I would just go ahead and share that back with Janine. Let her know you're accepting the award. That's optional. It's a nice thing to do. That's why you communicate back and forth with your grant manager. But what you're required to do to accept an award is up here. So you click on your award record 44. Up here where it says award and response, click on that box. And it says awarded amount $100,000. This is for, again, the penetration testing software. Are you accepting the award amount? Yes, I am. Okay. Now, you must indicate on here who is going to sign your grant agreement, because once you accept the award, the next step in the process is you will receive a grant agreement that must be electronically signed through a system we call a SureSign. Okay. A SureSign is kind of like a DocuSign equivalent. So it's an electronic signature vendor that's tied into Salesforce. So for now, though, you're accepting your award, you have to go ahead and indicate who will sign that MOA so we can put that name of that person and the email address to send it to in the SureSign client. All right, so anywhere you see a red asterisk, as Amanda mentioned earlier, is a required field. For your grant agreements, okay, you must always have your finance person sign the grant agreement. So your comptroller, budget officer, finance officer, whatever you call that person, your kind of top dog in finance. That's the person that has to sign your MOA. That's required. You must have at least that person, okay? You must put the correct email address in here. I'm just going to use my own email address for this. Second while I type that. All right. You can have up to 2 additional signatories at your option. So you could put in your, if you're accounting, your county manager, your EM director, your IT director for SLCGP, right? Your project manager, whoever else you want to put, you can have up to 2 other folks sign the grant agreement, legally sign the grant agreement. In this case, we're going to keep it just one. Our finance person is going to sign. So you indicate who the signatories are. You can also have folks copied on that grant agreement, BCCs, just copies. So let's say you wanted your county manager, or your, city director or town manager, whatever you are. If you want that person copied, put their email on here. They'll be sent a copy of the MOA. We're not going to do it in this case, but you have that feature, right? So I've accepted my award. I've indicated who my finance person is who will sign that award. I don't need anybody else to sign the MOA. Don't need anybody else to sign the MOA for me. Not copying anybody on my MOA. Hit submit. You've now accepted that award, okay? And you've now told the grant manager who you want to sign your grant agreement. So we click finish. We've already chatted to Janine that we just accepted the award. So here we just said, thanks, just accepted our award. And here it actually keeps track of the activity. We said status now. It has changed from a pending award to an accepted award, if you see right here. Okay. So now When you click on your application, all right, in this case 297, go to that grant file, click related. Okay, you will now see your associated award record, okay, with an accepted award right there. So the next step in the process is the grant manager then would get that accepted award, and they're going to create a second award record for your grant agreement, which we call an MOA. Right? So Janine and Michelle and Amanda, if you can take it away back at the home office there and create that second award record for us, that is the MOA. Once they're done doing that, that will show up. They'll let us know. That will show up here on the screen. They do that. Okay.
1
Am
second,
I-
Derek.
Yep.
Am I doing this? Am I sharing my screen?
No, you don't have to share. You just do it behind the scenes. You just do it. Let us know when it's done. Yeah, the folks don't need to see all that goes on behind the screen. All right. So while Michelle is doing that, just a couple more things about the view that you're going to see. What's going to happen is you're going to get this award for your MOA, okay? And then what you're going to see is we're going to kind of simulate in time forward. She's going to create the MOA record, and then what would happen in real time is that document would go out through the AssureSign client for all the electronic signatures to be collected, right? We're going to simulate that's all been done to move forward in time. So once Michelle creates that MOA award record, we're going to follow up with a chatter, okay, message that's going to have the completed, simulated, signed MOA in the record for you, right? So you're going to see that all kind of advancing in real time. In reality, it takes a while to do that, right? Because we have to create the MOA record, get that document to AssureSign. Everybody has to sign it. And we have to sign it first, right? It gets signed by our legal and our director, then it goes to y'all for signature. So that takes a while. But once that's all said and done, you will see that record appear back in Salesforce with that award record for the MOA. So we're going to simulate all that here in real time for you. All right. The other thing I'll point out while Michelle is doing that is you have a application budget here that's also been approved. Okay. When you submit your application, you submit a budget as well. And in this case, it's a budget for $100,000 for, again, penetration testing software. You can see here where you had requested $100,000 and you were awarded $100,000. There's been no adjustments to your award. And right now, you haven't spent anything, so you have $100,000 remaining, right? So you can always kind of see your balance that you have here in your budget, right? Also, when you submit a budget, you have to identify what category the funding is that you're requesting. It's what we call POETI, planning, organization, training, exercise, or equipment. In this case, because it's software, it's considered equipment. It's $100,000 of equipment that's been requested. And then when we submit a reimbursement request later on, you will see your reimbursement request start dwindling down that amount of remaining funding until you get down to zero, and at which point then you can go ahead and close out the award. Okay. So there's that. All right. So we'll go back to the application. All right. All right, and you will see here now, okay, that we actually have an MOA that's been created. All right, actually two records here. But let's say one of these here is the MOA has been created. All right. And let's see here, Janine, have you chattered the MOA yet to us?
Chattering now, Derek.
All right, great. And which award record are you using, 49 or 50?
50.
50. All right. All right. So what we're going to see here is this is the MOA that's been created, okay? And the MOA is your grant agreement. And what you're going to see is we're going to simulate that grant agreement has now all been signed. We're going through that process with all the signatures, and you're going to see that grant agreement appear here in a minute when Janine chatters it to us. And it will appear here in the chatter record as a file. So give a minute to do that. And I think at this point, we're going to take a pause while Janine's doing that and ask, are there any questions at this point that we can help anybody with? I know we're going through a lot of information. All right, seeing no questions, we'll just wait for Janine to go ahead and chatter that over to us. Here you see your accepted award. which is the award that you accepted of $100,000. And here is your MOA under award record 50. And there we go. Voila, Jean our friendly grant manager has chattered that over to us. This is your signed grant agreement here attached to the chatter record saying, hey, here's your MOA for FY23 SLCGP. All right. It also shows up here under your files under related to that award record. Okay, so you'll see the document there. You can click on it here and it gives you a preview. Now, sometimes when you click on the preview document, depending on your browser, you might see some scrunched up text that might not look perfect, but you can always download that document as well into a full PDF and you will see the full document as well. So it's available in a viewer. Sometimes the text gets a little skewed in the viewer. Simply go ahead and download that document so you have the PDF copy of it. And here is the grant agreement. These things, we can talk for hours about your grant agreements. They're 38 pages in this case. It's a long, detailed document. But basically, it's a contract between us as the grantor or the recipient of the award and you as the subrecipient of the award or the grantee. And it lays out all your roles and responsibilities and requirements under the award. But let's just say we're going to go down and I'll show you where it would be signed if this were a signed document. Scroll down to the last page here. Actually, it's not that page. Actually, it's a little bit up because there's attachments to the MOA as well. Here's the document. Here's what it looks like when it's signed. All right. So you can see all the signatures there. You have a signed MOA. All right. Again, you can download that document if you want. So now we have going back to our application. Okay. So always want to go think back to our application rec, which is 297 in this case. We go back to that related file. All right. So now we have an approved budget. Still have $100,000 left to spend. We have our, whoops, oh geez, sorry about that. We have our awards. Okay. So we have an accepted award. Normally you'll just see 2 award records. You'll see an accepted award and your MOA award. We inadvertently got an extra award in here, but you'll see 2, one for your award and one for your MOA. All right. And then the next thing that would be done was you would see a project created. Okay. So in this case, it looks like project 552 has been created. And once you click on that project, this is where you can go ahead and manage your project. All right. So again, look at the details of the project here. Basically, it's penetration testing software. It's what you applied for, right? And what you were approved for in your grant. Here's your balances. Again, you got $100,000 left in your amount. Click on related. You'll see some related objects to that as well, including any reimbursement requests that you submit, your approved budget, your budget lines, and so forth. All that will be in here. So at this phase, under the project number associated with that grant record, you can then go ahead and request project updates. Okay. If you click on that, you can do things such as make a scope of work request. Okay. So you can request to modify the approved scope of work. So let's say you applied for penetration testing software, pen testing software, and you said in your application, well, we wanted to go with this particular configuration or solution penetration testing, very specific in your application. But now, as you get more into it, you determine that you're going to slightly modify that, maybe use a different vendor, a different configuration. And you say, wait, we want to request a minor scope modification. You would do that via this feature here. Okay. POP is your period of performance to go ahead and complete your award. Typically, it's 3 years for SLCGP. So let's just say you're getting towards the end of your period of performance. You haven't yet completed your award, spent your money. You want to request an extension. You would do this for your POP extension request. They are not granted very lightly. They're very hard to get POP extensions, but it does exist a possibility to request that. Really, though, we want you to get that money spent as soon as possible and close your grant out. But it's possible to request a POP extension in very extenuating circumstances, and that's how you would do it. Say you wanted to modify your budget. So now you're saying, well, it's not really all equipment. I want to spend $90,000 on equipment, but $10,000 on training how to use that software as well, right? Modify your budget a little bit, doing it that way for a budget request. De-obligation request, let's just say you're getting down to spending all your money. You got a $100,000 award, but you only spent $990,000 of that. Or excuse me, $99,000 of that award. You have $1,000 left. You didn't need that money. You would de-obligate the other $1,000. And then the last thing you do, once you spend all your money down, You get your balance down to zero, or your deobligated balance down to zero, is you make a closeout request to close out your grant. So all that can be done through this request project update feature under your project. But what also you really want to do before you get to that is create a reimbursement request form. Okay. So now I have a $100,000 grant award. I haven't spent any money yet. I want to go ahead and as a reimbursement grant, as Lisa said, you will go ahead and complete the procurement for the software yourself, right? Have your invoice, your proof of payment, and proof that you paid the invoice, and you will have received that good or service, right, within the period of performance of the grant. Once you have all that stuff lined up, you're ready to get reimbursed for that expenditure, right? You're going to go ahead and create reimbursement request form. Okay. Now on this, again, it will tell you have $100,000 left. $100,000 of equipment specifically, right? Because that's the software under your provided categories. Simply hit next. All right. And then again, what category am I claiming under? It's equipment, right? I have $100,000 under equipment. It's software. I'm claiming under that. Provided discipline is enforced. Okay. Again, telling you what your budget is. What am I buying? I'm buying the penetration testing software. Okay. Well, let's say I'm going to spend the whole thing. All right. And then you would hit save and next. Now, be advised that because this is a testing environment, okay, this feature is not yet complete, right? So this is an error we're seeing here just for testing purposes. When this is moved into production, all right, you will then go ahead and see your reimbursement request actually be processed, okay? And what will happen is the grant manager will then get your reimbursement request. They will process your reimbursement request, okay? And you would then see that under this section under related of your project award record, your project 552 record. All right, you would see a reimbursement request there. Then you would see your budget, okay? Once that reimbursement request was processed, your budget would be reduced down. Funding remaining would show zero, okay? You would also, once you were paid, you would track your payments, okay? So you submit your reimbursement request, it would be processed, your budget would dwindle down to zero as you spend all the money. You also have a payment record created. We haven't done that here because we haven't processed it in real life, but if this were real life, you would see a payment record created as well to show when you were actually paid. All right, there's nothing here to show, but that's where it would be under that. All right, so once you had all that done, okay, then you could just go back to your application. All right. Go into your project. Okay, so let's say now you processed your reimbursement request for $100,000. You have no money left. The grant's complete. Now you want to go ahead and request that closeout. So go under project update. So we're going to go into your project, 552 in this case, request project update. You want to do closeout request. Okay, closeout comments, grant complete. Whatever you want to say, keep it brief, right? Now, to close out your grant, there are certain legal certifications you must make. These are specified in your grant agreement, but here's where you will go ahead and actually certify that these things are true and correct. I've submitted all my required financial performance and other documentations as required by the MOA. Yes, I have. And again, as Lisa mentioned, with that MOA, there are certain reports that you have to submit. There's an annual report that's required to be submitted to us. There's an NCSR, National Cybersecurity Review, you must submit through CISA every year. And then, of course, you would submit your financial documentation to us as you were submitting your reimbursement request to be closed out. So all those things would have all been done. You're certifying they're all complete. Okay. All grant funds were used for the purpose appropriated, right? Again, I applied for penetration testing software. I bought exactly what I said I applied for. There's no funny business going on here. I didn't try to, use that money for something else. I used that money for the intended purpose, which was the approved application of $100,000 for the penetration testing software. So yes, the approved scope of work for this grant is complete. Yes, I bought the software. It's installed. We know how to use it. Thank you very much. Yes, it is complete. And we've submitted any other documentation that's required. We will let you know if anything else is required. You understand that basically you have to provide access to all of your documentation to us upon further request. And you're saying, yes, you do. And then this is basically telling you that once this is all complete and received by us, we do have the right to do a site visit if we want to make sure everything's good before we close out your grant. We're not normally doing those too much, but it's possible we could do a site visit, but probably not if everything goes well. But basically, this is telling you that, once we review everything, we do any site visits we have to do, everything's good and complete, you will then get a letter from us telling you your grant is officially closed. Okay. So I'm going to hit next there. And you can upload supporting documentation as well to support your closeout request. So let's say in this case, I've got a photo, of the actual, item that we purchased. I'm going to upload a full copy of that. Just go right from your computer and update a photo. All right. And now you have submitted a closeout request. Okay. So again, under your project, you've submitted your closeout request, right? And you actually have now a project management request for closeout, which is right here. Okay, this is talking about you requested your closeout, all your certifications are complete. The documentation you attached in support of it shows up here under EM documents, which is a photo of the item that we purchased. All that information is here. Now, it's still requested, it's still pending status, it has not been approved yet. Okay. Once that is approved, all right, that pending status will change to approved, and you will actually see a closeout record that is created by the grant manager. We don't have it done here yet, but because we didn't process the reimbursement request, but here you will see a closeout. I would go to all again, and if it was actually really closed out, you can see your closeout record here, right? So then, going back to your grant application, which is your grant file, if the reimbursement request is able to be processed here, as you went back to your grant file, click on related, you click on your budget, you would see that you would have a 0 amount remaining here, right? Because you submitted your reimbursement request and it was approved and processed, all right? You would then go ahead and see your, here's real quick here, all right, hold on, let's back with the application. You would then go ahead and see under the application, your project would be closed, okay? You would see your award records all would be here for you for posterity. You'd have a copy of your MOA and your award records here if you need copies of those. And then you would basically have no money left, and you would then have a closeout record and a closeout letter sent to you to show your grant is closed out. And that will be it for that particular grant record. And then let's just say, for example, you applied for 24 SLCGP. You would see that application here in your list of applications once you do that in the fall. So all your grant applications are saved in Salesforce. The organization submits. That individual grant record is your application record with all the documentation associated with it, and all the chatter records associated with it are with that same grant record. So what this does is it eliminates the need, as we were talking before, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, to go back and forth via email, with your grant manager and with us, because everything is done in Salesforce. To kind of summarize it all, our kind of motto with Salesforce, if you will, our guiding principle, is that if it's not in Salesforce, it didn't happen. So what that means is all associated grant record documentation is contained in that grant record in Salesforce. Salesforce is the official grant record. Nothing else needs to be emailed or exchanged back and forth if it all goes as planned. And that's the way Salesforce works post-award management for FY23 SLCGP. All right, we'll take a pause at this point and see if there are any questions remaining. And I know we covered a lot of information that is being recorded and can be reviewed at your leisure at a later time. All right, very good. I'll turn it over to Lisa, Janine, any of the staff. Do you have anything else you want to add before we break for this session?
Yeah, no, just if all the participants could be sure that they do put their name and agency in the chat for us so that we can keep track of our online participants. We'd appreciate that.
Thank you. Outstanding. Janine, anything else you want to add?
No, just thank everyone for participating today. We greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Also, I want to thank the staff for all of your time today and Lisa for leading us in SLCGP. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Janine. Appreciate it. So again, to recap, if you are FY23 SLCGP awardee, you'll be notified hopefully by the end of August, early September. Once you receive that notification, you will go ahead and accept your award in Salesforce as we just showed you. You will go and then manage your award post-award in Salesforce as we just showed you. Okay. if you're not an FY23 SLCGP awardee, but you're going to apply for FY24 SLCGP, you will use Salesforce to apply. There will be a separate training session for that. And if you get funding for FY24 SLCGP, you'll use the same process we just showed you to manage your award for FY24 SLCGP. And each of our respective grants that we have their own modules in Salesforce. We have separate training for each of those modules. I think later today, Janine, is our NSGP program later this evening, as we mentioned earlier today. So that's all we have for the rest of today. If there are no more questions, thank y'all. We'll stop the recording at this time, and we'll see y'all next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Okay, please stop the recording, Janine.